Hello, parents. Happy Saturday. Hello and happy Saturday. It's your girl, Sharita. Listen, we got to talk today, y'all. Parents, I'm going to give you 5 things that you need to stop saying in front of your child. This is what I've been thinking about over the years, okay? There are 5 things that you say around your child that you need to stop saying today. If you want your child to become a champion, if you want your child to develop a champion mindset, if you want your child to drop all of the excuses, stop playing around, believe in themselves, do their best, challenge themselves, go after it, okay? And if you don't want your child to grow up not being able to take care of themselves, not being able to solve problems, and not giving up easily, right? That giving up easily that we see in kids today is a huge problem. Huge problem. So we're going to talk about things that parents say around their children that feed their insecurities and give them excuses and let them focus on their comfort instead of achieving their goals or doing what they got to do. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Sharita Morgan. I'm the behavior and learning strategist coming at you from the Morgan Limited Growth Institute, where you can find solutions for your child's behavior and learning challenges. I'm also a math and literacy tutor and coach, and parent coach. And I teach kids how to read, kids who have been struggling to read for years. I help them get past their obstacles, their fears. My what you call it is not working. Sorry about that. Their obstacles and their fears, and then they start to read. As a matter of fact, I have a 4th grader I just started working with, and he's starting to read at home. His parents reported that he's starting to read at home instead of pressing the text to play, that where the computer will read it to you. He started reading on his own and then also doing his homework on his own without waiting for help. So this is what I do. But let's talk about these 5 things, and hopefully my phone stays up mounted and it doesn't fly on the floor again. Let's talk about these 5 things you need to stop saying in front of your child right now, today. All right? Number 1. Now, I love y'all, okay? I love you, but I got to tell you, and a lot of you say this, and you probably don't even realize it. My child needs help. My child needs help, okay? And you might think it's innocent, and I know your intentions. You're trying to advocate for your child. You're trying to make sure that your child gets what they need. But your child, the 5 things I want to tell you about today, you're going to have to ask yourself the question, how does my child internalize that, right? What are they thinking? So, but your child then starts to think they are helpless, and they change their behavior to always wait for help. Always wait for help. If you say my child needs help and you rush in to help them as soon as things get a little tough, as soon as the word is difficult for them to read, it's not a word that they know, you rush in to read it for them, or if they're not sure how to do their homework on number 3, and you already in there with the pencil trying to help them, or you're erasing their work and then writing it over neater, or doing all this extra stuff helping, what happens is when they get in the classroom, they require that same kind of help from the teacher. And yes, it makes it difficult for the teacher to manage the class, but you know what? It's even worse for your child, because now they are in school, right? And they are not growing. They're not growing. They're not progressing. And they have no confidence. They really don't think they can do it after a while. So let's say there are 10 tasks, right? your child may be able to do 3 out of 10 of them. It depends on their level. Okay? And then they might be able to do 6 out of 10 of them, but not perfectly. Make some mistakes. You know what I mean? Not understand everything, you know? They might be able to do that on their own. But to them, the way they behave and what they will adapt, you know, how they will adapt to this and what they will end up doing is they're not going to attempt any of them on their own. They're just going to wait. They're going to wait and wait for help. Wait for, especially special education classes. But I'm talking about back when I was a special education teacher. But nowadays, even kids who are not in special education do the same thing. They're not moving forward unless the adult helps them, explains it to them again, teaches it to them again. Even starting, you know, the directions in the beginning, where the teacher explains the directions, they want it to be explained again. I'm not moving. I need help. So instead of saying that they need help or agreeing with them when they say they need help, let's do the opposite. Make them do it on their own. Make them do it on their own. Even if they're going to get it wrong, make them do it on their own. They must do it on their own. Then afterwards, they can learn what their mistakes were, what they was able to do, what they got correct, what was incorrect, how now to figure it out and think about the ones that are incorrect. That whole process is eliminated. They're not thinking. That whole process is eliminated if we go in there to help them right off the bat. So, parent at home, have your child doing things on their own more often. More often. They need to do it a lot. They need to build up that muscle to do it on their own. Even if it's something like doing a chore at home, or fixing something, or building something. Like, you know how they have the little shelving units from Amazon where you have to connect the pieces and stuff and put it up, and you know, have your child look and try to do a part of it. You understand what I'm saying? On their own. Don't help. Let them become self-sufficient and build up the habit of going in and starting and thinking on their own before asking for help. All right, so that was number 1. My child needs help. Number 2, y'all need to stop saying this. My child can't focus. You need to stop saying that. Don't ever say that again around your child. Don't ever say that. Because the way they internalize it and the way what they end up thinking is just, I'm not a focused person. And they will start to act more unfocused. And I know, you know, experts and parents of kids with ADHD probably will get on here and not like what I'm saying. But I'm telling you, I've seen this in action over 20 years working with kids, because I observe kids a lot. I observe, like, I pay attention to what they do, when they do it, how they do it. I pay attention to facial expressions, movements. You know what I mean? I pay attention to body language. I pay attention to how they respond. I can tell the moment when a child loses their confidence right at that moment when they're working with me, and I know exactly what is difficult for them to do. I tell exactly. Or when a child is engaged with me, but then they have a bright idea and they try to be slick, I can tell right when their thought process has changed. You know what I mean? So I paid attention to this over the years, and I've seen kids start to take on being unfocused as their identity. I'm an unfocused person. I can't focus. I remember being in special education and kids coming in to class, and then they would say, "Oh, I'm unfocused today because I didn't have my medication." But I could tell by looking at them that they had embraced it, and they were being even more unfocused. You know what I mean? But I paid attention to their behavior. Some days when they had their medication, it was doing the same thing. So let's be careful about saying that, and instead let's help our kids develop more discipline and self-control by teaching them how to focus and practice focusing. How do you focus? Like, our kids don't understand that. We have to make sure that we teach them that, how to focus. We just say focus. We don't teach them exactly how to focus on a task and get it done. And I see kids improve their focus within weeks with focus strategies and them practicing and having this built in. So absolutely, kids can improve their focus. But if we say all the time they can't focus, you're very unfocused, we don't even say that in my we don't even say that in my program, in my tutoring coaching program. I never say, hey, focus, y'all unfocused today. I never say that, and my students can't say it either. And when I was teaching special education in the classroom back in the day, I used to be like, hey, we'll talk like that. We'll talk like that. I'm distracted. Nope, we don't say that. Because whatever they're thinking about, that's how they behave. Remember, kids communicate with their behavior even more than adults do. So whatever they're thinking, however they're feeling, it's going to come out in their behavior. You're going to see it. You're going to see it. So we want them to think, like, I could do anything. I am super focused. I got this. I'm going to be finished soon. I'm going to do great on this test. We have to teach them how to focus, and we have to teach them what to focus on and how to create a focused mindset. We have to teach them this. But stop saying, my child can't focus. And stop expecting everybody in the school to now manage your child and help them pay attention. Because that's not a situation you want your child to be in. I'm telling y'all straight up. You don't want your child to have to be managed in school. Because what's the point of sending them to school if the most of the focus is on their lack of focus, their behavior, and not on their learning. So at home, parents, we gotta teach our kids how to focus. Straight up. All right. Here's number 3. Number 3. So I hear this a lot too. And I wish we would change this. I wish we would not say this and not think this. We got to change our mindset around this whole thing. Because it's becoming so common. And that is, my child needs someone next to them to do their work, to help them do their work. They need one-on-one assistance. Y'all, let's be for real. Every child in the classroom can't have one-on-one assistance. And it used to be just a few kids, but now multiple children, half the class is requiring one-on-one assistance. Y'all gotta understand something about kids in a group. Okay, we know our kids, how they are at home, but when they're in a group, they feed off each other's behaviors. Also, all of them want the attention of the teacher. So if Raheem is getting the attention of the teacher because he won't sit properly and he keeps hanging halfway off his chair and he's not doing his work and he's making noises and he's twirling a pencil around on his desk, and then he's going to twirl it really fast so that it flies off the desk and onto the floor. So now he has to get up and give it. If Raheem got all that going on, and so Serena, I know it's Serena, young girl Serena. Serena over here wants the attention of the teacher too, and Raheem's getting all the attention. She's going to start to copy some of the things that he's doing. And I've seen this for years. So your child will develop behaviors that they see in the classroom to get the kind of attention that behavior is getting. You understand? So that's why I teach my students how to focus, even when someone is in the classroom pulling the attention and disrupting the classroom. How do they stay focused on what they're supposed to be doing? I've always taught my students that now, teaching them virtually, I teach them that, and I tell them to do the same thing in the classroom, in school. And I told them when I was teaching in the classroom too, I taught the whole class how to respond to negative attention-seeking behavior and how to encourage your peers to get back on track. You know what I'm saying? So you have to create the mindset in our kids that they need to be doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that they have to get started on their work as soon as the assignment is given, and do your best. Get started. Put that pencil to paper. Are you serious? What are you sitting there not doing anything for? That's the problem. The problem is it my child needs help or he can't do it. And then there's so much focus on what he's not able to do right now, how he's a struggling reader, how he gets distracted when he when he has to do work. Or it's another one, he needs multiple breaks. No, they don't. No, we need to stop that mess. That's a bonus. I'll go to the next one in a minute. But we need to stop that mess right there. We need to stop giving kids multiple breaks in the classroom. That's not, I've seen it in action. I'm trying to tell y'all, the way that you think these accommodations work on paper and it's not the way it's working in the classroom in real life. What's actually happening is the child, whenever it's time for them to do work, or if they're bored, or if they don't feel like sitting, they will ask for a break. And they're entitled to it because it's in their IEP. And they will get up, and now accommodations need to be made to bring them outside of the classroom, take for a walk. They swinging around, swinging their head around, and needing to be handheld while walking and everything. They get a nice little break, and they come to class, and they're not prepared to jump back in class and into the lesson. They're behind now. They're not prepared. They're behind. So now the teacher, whoever staff is in the classroom, has to catch them up and still work with them one-on-one until they feel like they need a break again. This is too much for them. It's becoming overwhelming. They need another break. No, cut that out. They don't need all those breaks. My sessions are 1 hour long. And my students, in order to earn a point for remaining seated, they have to stay sitting properly for the hour and not moving their camera around, not having the iPad die because it wasn't charged. You lose points for that. Not moving around on the bed or laying down in the camera. No, you lose points for that. Not muting yourself, you know what I mean? Or switching screens because I'm paying attention to your eyes and what you're doing. None of that. You lose a point for that. And do you know these kids can sit for an hour? They don't get breaks. They don't get up and have to leave, use the bathroom, tell them to use the bathroom before class. They set the structure up. And then we learn and we work together and they work independently, and they focus, right? They do not need all those breaks. When I was teaching special education, my students didn't get all those breaks either. Stay in the class. Sit down. There are breaks, scheduled, structured breaks that we did. And I did activities where students was able to get up out of their seats and work, in some kind of game or go up to the board. And when I call your name, get up, run up to the board, take the marker, write the word, and then run back. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. I did that. And then there are times where they just had to sit and do the work. You have to have that balance. You understand? But no way should a child be having multiple breaks during a lesson or during a test. Because guess what? If they were unfocused before they left, then when they come back, they have to refocus. They got to get back on focus. And they have lost the opportunity to gain momentum. They've lost it. All right? So they don't need someone sitting next to them. And they don't need all those breaks either. And if you don't believe it, try it. But try teaching your child how to sit for a period of time. I have a new student. She's so sweet. So much personality. Such a sweetheart. Her voice is so cute. She's 4 years old. right? And I sent a message to her mom and asked her mom to have her sit for 2 minutes, practice sitting for 2 minutes with her hands folded. And during the sessions, that's what I'll have her do. Practice sitting and then count in your head and smile, but no talking. Teach her how to do that so that she can practice doing that, and then do a stopwatch and show her just how long you was able to do it today. Good job. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, you get better and better every day. You are so focused. You're a focused queen. You know what I mean? Like, just teach her, or focused princess, just teaching her. I probably won't call it a focused princess because I don't really use that word a lot with my students. But just like you are a champion. That's what I would say. You are a champion. Look at this. You was able to sit here longer today than you did last time. Good job. Keep up the good work. Wow, look at you. You know, just practice with them. If you don't believe me, try it. Try it. Set timers for your kids to sit down and do stuff, and focus on just that one thing, and do it every day. You know, and challenge them. Kids love challenge. Kids love challenge. They love to, at the end, be like, how long did I do it for today? How long did I, be able to do it till the timer went off? I can sit for longer than a timer. If you tell a child, all right, here's the timer. You write 4 sentences. My students, I write more than 4 sentences today, Miss Sharita. I wrote 7 sentences. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they love it. Like, challenge them. Stop making it easy for them. Challenge them. Push them. These kids can focus. I'm telling you, most of these kids can focus a lot better than you think they can. A lot of them, they can focus a lot better than you think they can. But every child can improve their focus. I haven't seen a child that didn't improve focus. I haven't seen it. Okay? All right, here's the other one. Oh my goodness. We got to be careful of this too. And I did this as a parent. As a matter of fact, I made mistake number 1, thinking my child needs help and helping her all the time, because my child, she was born early. I had preeclampsia, and she was born at 32 weeks. And she was in the hospital for a month. So when I brought her home, I just wanted to take care of her and make sure she was okay. So I spent way too much of my time and energy, you know what I mean, treating her like glass. She's tough. But in my mind as a parent, I had to protect her. So I was like making everything too easy for her. So her needing help, I was there. I made all these mistakes. The focus, trying to make her focus, and then work about how she's so distracted all over the place, and like, what's wrong? And I came from a mental health field. I was a mental health specialist before I became a special education teacher. So of course you start to wonder, does my child have ADHD? You understand what I'm saying? You start to wonder these things as a parent, because you see these behaviors and you haven't put any structure in place yet to address them, have them practice every day, and you haven't seen the progression of how they become more and more focused every day, have more and more self-control and self-discipline, can read and more every time they read, and it's easier for them, or can write more sentences every time you sit them down, and they are more determined to write more sentences. If you set everything up right, that's how it goes. But you don't know that is a possibility, or that is what happens. So you just see the behavior, and you just see the difficulty in managing it. So you automatically assume, and you start to help too much. You start to feel like your child can't focus. All right, and I was sitting next to my daughter with her work, trying to get her to do her work and stay focused. I did the same thing, right? I learned that. Okay, I'm in my 40s, y'all. I'm 46 years old this summer. And I have kids. I have 2 girls 10 years apart. And the second time around being a mother, I did things totally different, okay? Totally different. Because I realized all of that, all right? All right, so the other thing, number 4, is I don't want to give my child too much to do. So he just has his room to clean. If I ask parents about chores, he just has his room to clean. And he just has his or she just has her room to clean, or they help sometimes, doing this. If I ask for help, they help. No, they need more. And parents say this because they're like, well, when I was a kid, I had to do a lot, and I don't want my child to have to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's what kids do. And when I was a child, I learned how to clean. I learned how to cook and take care of the kids. I'm the oldest out of 7 children, right? And yeah, I didn't always want to do that when I was a kid. Absolutely not, right? But when I became an adult, I knew how to do that for my own family. I could cook meals. I could take care of things. I could take care of babies even, my babies, you know what I mean? And I felt confident that I was going to be able to take care of them, in that way, because I had been trained when I was young. So when I became an adult, it was easy little flow to change diapers. Are you serious? To change diapers, to even make the food. I learned how to do that. And also clean up, give a baby a bath, cook a meal. Like, that was easy flow. One thing I didn't know what to do, what I struggled with was breastfeeding. That was tough. That was tough for me. All right. But I made it through, y'all. I made it through. But when I tell you I was struggling, okay? Right? So your child needs more than just their room to clean, because 2 things happen. One is you end up overworking yourself. It was not set up for you to do everything in a house. That's not how it's supposed to be. All right. And your child misses out on learning daily life skills that they need. And what I noticed is when children don't have chores at home and they don't have to do it, make sure it's done right, and if it's not done right, clean it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, fix it. When they don't have that going on, when it's time for them to actually do schoolwork or homework, they don't have that process. They don't have that work ethic, paying attention to detail, doing their best, double checking to make sure it's right, the routine of doing it every day. If they're not doing chores, they get by every day without doing chores. They are chilling at home. They're not doing nothing. Then when it's time for them to do their work, a lot of kids struggle with taking initiative, sitting down and just focusing on work and getting it done, and getting it done on a regular basis. Our children need these routines. So what I recommend is make it a balance, y'all. They need independent study, chores, hobbies or activities, and entertainment. Most kids today, they have a whole lot of entertainment, and then you try to squeeze in some homework, and then it's so hard to get them off their iPads and their phones. That's what they're focused on, because that's most of their life, And as I said yesterday's live, we got to stop doing what our kids want and start doing what they need. So learn how to say no. Can I watch TV? No. Read a book. Can I play the game? No. Go and do your chores. You understand what I'm saying? Are your chores done? Can I play the game? Are your chores done? Can I play the game? Did you read yet? Go get that book. We don't have to say yes quickly. Just responding to whatever they want. Just saying yes because they want it. They ask us, so we feel like we should say yes. That's too automatic. It's too fast. And you can slow down and be like, wait a minute, let me think for a second. And think, what do you want? What does your child need in the moment versus what they're asking you? That as a parent, you can do that, and you should do that. Make a decision when they ask for something, okay? And structure it so that they are doing other things that they need to do that will grow them every day. Build that discipline every day. Make them better students in the classroom. And then also structure in that entertainment, leisure, fun time. They'll appreciate it. When they have it, they'll have such a great time, and they'll appreciate it. You know what I mean? Because I've done what I had to do, and now I get to chill and enjoy this. Oh, I could pick from one of these 3 games. You know what I'm saying? oh, I was doing good. This is how they do it in school. Like, you do good in school, so you get to have recess, so you get to have time on the computer. But I think we should do more. I think it should be more things that our kids get to do when they have done a good job and completed their work. They should have more variety of activities to do. And I remember when I was a mental health specialist, when the students came from the school, because there was a partial hospitalization program, and they would come from the school, and when they came in, we had games, and they would sit down, they would find somebody, build their social skills also. They would sit down with somebody and they played a trouble game together. They played a Monopoly game, you know what I mean? Or they played Uno. And one of us would play, I'll play you in Uno. You don't know nothing about this. I'm about to beat you. You ain't got skills like me. I used to talk junk all the time. So you sit there, you play with them stuff, and they have to learn how to take turns. They have to learn how to pay attention. They have to learn how to be ready. They have to learn how to react if they lose. You know what I'm saying? Good sportsmanship. They have to learn all that stuff. So they need other activities, structured, fun activities. Not just, can I play with my iPad? Can I play the game? They need more than that. Okay? All right? And then here's the last one. The last one we got to really be careful of saying. We got to stop saying this. Be very careful. Is, my child would never do that. All right, parents. All right, Mom. Let me put the notebook down for this one. My child would never do that. Well, remember I said all these things we got to be careful about saying in front of our children. My child will never do that. I know my child. Now, I'm not saying that you don't know your child, or if you hear something that might seem off, like something your child wouldn't do. And I'm not saying that you are correct. But what I am saying is that I've seen this plenty of times where children will tell a story. They will lie to protect themselves from getting in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And this is natural. This is what kids do. Plus, your child is in a different environment in the classroom. So they might do things in environment in the classroom differently when your eyes are not on them, because mom's not here, and they try to see if they can get away with it. Plus, like I said earlier, they might be copying some behaviors that they see other kids do. Things happen. Kids do things. And instead of rushing to say my child wouldn't do that, believe your child, like have faith in your child, but also don't be blind and don't jump to conclusions quickly without finding out. So talking to your child, and this is a skill. This is an art, okay? Something that you have to develop, that I had to learn how to develop over time with my own children and with my students. Because they say I'm like a detective, and they call me Dora the Explorer. These are the names that my students have given me over the years. And you know what? Even the high school students be saying mess like that. Like that Dora the Explorer, that came from one of my high school students. Because I ask a lot of questions and I listen, but it's a growth conversation. So it's not in judgment. It's not, there's no anger here, but I'm just asking so that they can reflect and think. And then if something don't sound right, that's how you find the gaps. Okay? You find the gaps when you're asking questions and when your child is answering, and you're asking, but not in a way like a consequence is a consequence. If your child's going to get a consequence, they're going to get one regardless, right? But if you take the anger out and then just asking what's happening, and then what happened, and then what did you say, and then what did they say, and what did you think about that? Okay, what happened next? Okay, and you said, oh, what about what you said earlier? You said this is what happened. You know what I'm saying? But how did this happen if this happened? Like ask questions. Ask questions. Get them talking. Don't be the first to, don't jump to conclusions. Don't be so quick to defend and fight the teacher and give them, this is a processing conversation. I've done it with my own children, and I've done it with kids, and when I was teaching in the schools, and also students in the program, my tutoring and coaching program. Even with my students, if there was a conflict or something was going on and they had problems with each other, like let's say they fought out in the playground, I'll have them stand in front of the class and I have like a water bottle, and then they pass it back and forth between each other to talk and say their piece, how they interpret the situation, their side of the story. And that would make them laugh by saying, hey, that's my aunt, I intend to drink that later. Don't be breathing no hot breath on my water bottle. They start laughing, loosen up the mood a little bit. They're going to be accountable for whatever they accountable for. Whoever was in the wrong, it's going to come out through this process of talking. But we got to make sure our kids are talking and processing and taking accountability for what happened, and then help them, move them along so that they can reach a solution, right? And then ask them in, well, what do you think you should do now? Or even ask, well, what kind of consequence do you think you're supposed to have for that? Ask them, make them part of the situation, the conversation. They're going to end up telling the truth in the end, or you will see if they're not telling the truth. In the same way you're asking these questions, they talk to the teacher too. Same thing. Don't jump in, take out the anger, no fighting. Just talk to the teacher and find out what happened from the teacher's perspective, and ask the questions that you need to ask. So you will understand when you ask questions to slow down and think. You'll be able to see what really happened when you get all the information. But give the teacher a chance to give all the information, and give your child a chance to give all the information before you react emotionally. And I'm saying this as a parent because I have done this, and as a mom, these are my babies, So it's the same daughter who, when she was brought home finally after being in the NICU for a month, developed a fever, and I cried like a baby. You understand what I'm saying? So I understand how it feels, moms, parents. But you also, I said before, ask yourself, how is my child internalizing my reaction or what I'm saying? What are they thinking? So when you say my child would never do that, without even understanding the whole situation, if your child is acting up in school, now they know that you and the teacher are not on the same page, and you're going to fight with the teacher regardless of what they do. They're going to get away with stuff. Now they in the school talking junk to the teacher. My mom told me that I shouldn't do this, or my mom told me not to do this. And my mom said, I'm telling you, that's what they be doing in school. You know how many times in the beginning when I was teaching, the students would be talking junk to me and say, well, my mom would come up to the school in this madness. I was working in Newark, New Jersey, my hometown, my stomping ground. They'd be talking all that junk, and then I would say, all right, well, this is my prep time. Tell mom, to call me, and I would say that in a minute, because my thing was, I'm definitely going to talk to your mom. We definitely going to figure this out, and we always did. But a big thing that helped me back in the day was I always built relationship with my teacher, my parents. As much as I built relationships with my students. That's what's missing. And I'll get into that on another live. But that's very important, right? So that's why I said in the beginning, they start talking that junk. They're trying to use the same tactics they used the year before they met me, and thought that I was going to now be worried about talking to their parents, right? That didn't happen, right? But this is how they get. You don't want to give your child reason to go into the classroom and disrespect the teacher, because that's what's happening. Y'all want to say what's respectful and what's not was not respectful, and you want your child to have equal respect to the teacher, or them to be on equal planes, but that's not. Let's talk about real life showing up in the classroom. When your child goes into the classroom and they're refusing to do their work, they're talking back to the teacher, they're disrupting the class, they're doing all this other stuff. They feel like, because of what you said in front of them, my child doesn't do this and my child wouldn't do this. And if you have a problem with the teacher talking about the teacher in front of your child, they feel like they could do whatever they want in the classroom, and it's hurting them. It's hurting them. So look at it this way. Like I said before, stop saying these 5 things. These 5 things, if you want your child to grow up and have a champion mindset, not be trying to have excuses for everything, and also be functional and be successful, and keep going until they get it, accomplish goals. If this is what you want, stop saying these 5 things to your child, okay? My child needs help. Instead, teach your child how to do things on their own. Have them practice every day. Number 2, my child can't focus. They start to feel like I'm not a focused person, and they start to act unfocused. I've seen this over the years working with kids, okay? Instead, teach them how to practice focusing. Okay. Number 3, they need someone next to them to do their work. No, they don't. If they do, then a plan needs to be put in place and worked on every day so that they can work independently. They got to get out of that. They got to get out of that. And then think, well, how many years do you want that to be going on? So teach them how to practice working independently. Number 4, I don't want to give my child too much to do, so I only give them their bedroom to do, right? Or maybe he just needs 3 problems to do, math problems to do. Just give him a little bit and see if he can handle it. The less you give your kids, the less they want to do. I'm telling y'all. The less you give your kids, the less you want to do. A lot of these kids are walking around here not being successful and not learning and not growing because they're doing too little. And once you start putting more on them, once you start raising the standards and making them work harder, they start to grow. They need it. They need it, okay? That makes you overwork, and then your child isn't learning life skills, right? They need independent study, chores, hobbies, and entertainment. My child would never do that. Believe your child, but don't be blind. And kids do change their stories to protect themselves from getting in trouble. It's a fact. And it's something that I've seen over the years. Remember, I've been in the game for over 20 years. I've been in the game. So I'm telling y'all what I know, experience. And I've also been in the game helping kids become more independent, learn how to read, take responsibility for their actions, learn how to interact better, improve social skills, have higher standards, learn how to achieve goals, learn how to improve their grades, test scores. So we go hard here. We go hard here. No excuses. No help. No helping figuring it out for them. They got to think, and they have to work. All right. So if you want your child to work with someone who's that intense, but cares so much about your child that I'm willing to stick it through no matter what, and push your child past their fear of failure and laziness. A lot of kids are lazy and don't want to do work, and I don't accept that at all. And I'll keep going until we hit it, right? If that's what you're looking for in a tutor for your child, and I'm a tutor and coach. And also I'm starting a parent coaching program soon. So if you're interested in that, let me know. We're going to get it in, y'all. We're going to get it in. All right, I got things to do, running around to do. Love y'all so much. Thank you for hanging with me today. We got this, and we are going to the top. Our kids are champions. We're not stopping till we at the top, all right? Believe in yourself. Believe in your child, honey. Always remember to go to Unlimited. And we got this. Peace.